Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a little holiday stream. Guess it's not the holiday yet, but Bigger Z. Yeah, that's where influencers get paid to shill something. In this case, I think it was a gambling thing. Yeah, a bunch of influencers got paid to shill a gambling thing and they got called out for it basically. I don't know why they do that. Must be good money. Must be good money. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, that clip, I mean, that was Amy Acton tweeting out that clip. That's really Amy Acton's problem. You can't be a major candidate and be tweeting out AI stuff where they sync the voice correctly and it's like indistinguishable from Vivek's actual voice. That was, I mean, all the major news outlets tweeted out. So what do you want me to do to say? I didn't know it was fucking AI. I had no clue that that was AI.
Make parenting more affordable by making school year-round and going till 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock so you don't have to pay for childcare. Make parenting more affordable by making school year-round and going till 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock so you don't have to pay for childcare. Make parenting more affordable.
Yeah, apparently that's AI.
Welcome to the Schwab Academy. The mission of the Schwab Academy is to prepare people for the tremendous changes which will be caused by the transformation from the industrial to the intelligent age. The intelligent age is based on a combination of many life-changing technologies. Of course, artificial intelligence, but there is also quantum computing and many other technologies.
Yeah, I signed up for this course. This is a great opportunity. There needs to be some sort of regulation. Well, there's serious problems if the candidates tweet it out. Think about that. The candidates are tweeting out fake videos. You can't do that. And Amy Acton didn't even know, but whatever it is, it's a big issue. Ben Shapiro, Jewish event. Isn't that every week? I haven't heard about a Ben Shapiro Jewish event. They're having a Jewish coalition together, probably. Did you see Cash is not going to get fired? I didn't even know that was a rumor, but somebody was saying in chat he wasn't going to get fired. You guys like the stream. Ben Shapiro clip.
If you listen to Nick Fuentes, you are likely to be a loser. He is a loser. He is a basement-dwelling, ridiculous loser who spends his days ranting on the internet to a bunch of other basement dwellers. Don't be one of those people. You don't have to be that. You can actually go get a job. You can get married. You can have a girlfriend. You can actually, make something of yourself in this world. And it was really funny. There's one point where actually Tucker made some sort of disparaging reference to Fuentes about this when he was doing an interview with another delightful person, Candace Owens. And in the middle of this interview, he sort of made a disparaging remark about Fuentes. And Fuentes went right back at him and said, you're insulting the basement dwellers, Tucker. Those are your people. Like you said they were your people, but actually you scorn them. Here's the thing. Nobody should scorn people who are unsuccessful in life when they don't know better. But it's our job to teach them to know better. Right? It is not good. If you listen to Nick Fuentes, there is no way your life gets markedly better. In fact, it gets markedly worse. If you listen to the life prescriptions of Andrew Tate, your life will get worse, not better. You will end up alone, joyless, with no purpose in life. You will end up not being very wealthy. You'll have made him wealthy by giving him your money, by being grifted upon. And if we don't make that aggressive case on behalf of our own values, and yes, against those values, and not in a shy way, then we deserve to lose.
Yeah, but he's going to have to go actually at Fuentes. Maybe he's waiting for Fuentes to fall off. I don't know. He's not going to reach the young people with a message like that or doing this. His 2X, yeah, he does talk really quickly. That's what he's known for. "70% of Groypers are foreigners." Yeah, some of them did get exposed, and the one dude was from New Zealand, and he was trying to argue. It's like, dude, you're from New Zealand. I mean, what's your obsession with American politics? These people are from New Zealand. They're tweeting out like America first. I mean, come on. That's a bit ridiculous. Then everyone's like, well, we have to excuse it because America is the lead country, and so they're going to have an interest in our politics. But that seems like you have an interest in this movement. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I saw the Bill Maher stuff. That seemed like boomer slap to me when Laura Trump and Bill Maher. It didn't really seem. It's just like more of the same. Play the Trump clips with the turkeys. Yeah, and that's what they do. They pardon the turkeys. A few of the turkeys get lucky, and they bring them into the press briefing room. Eric Sliwa. He's running for governor now. I mean, what a mess California is in terms of their governor's race because of the way they do it. There's a Republican that may win. I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to galvanize behind somebody, but Trump going to Florida for Thanksgiving. Major developments in negotiations with Russia, Ukraine. The Russia-Ukraine stuff, it's hard to get too much into it because we've been told this for months and months and months that there's negotiations. It's not even tempting to do a video on because it's like, what's the real point? I mean, I've done a lot of videos on it, and I feel it's kind of beat to death at this point, the Russia-Ukraine stuff. Hopefully it happens, though. I mean, it's going to be good if it does. Yeah, but I think a lot of the people that are going at Fuentes, they're boomers themselves. It's like it's easy. It's easy for a younger person to relate with young people versus Ben Shapiro trying to relate with young people. Like that doesn't. It's not really a fair fight. Ukraine isn't giving up land. Is that true? They're not. I thought they were going to give up land. They have to give up land. They have to give up land for it to end. But I don't know. I mean, you know, that's the same thing over and over again. Yeah, there's just like a bunch of, this is like the few days before the holiday. There's not going to be much on here, I don't think. It's pretty typical. Putin is winning. Why would he peace out now? Because the cost of acquiring the land is not worth the amount of armament they're losing, basically. It depends. I mean, nobody really knows. He's winning in what sense? I mean, they took obviously they're going to do better than Ukraine. They've got a much stronger military, much bigger military. They've got a significant manpower advantage, but it's a little bit more complicated than them just winning. Who's cooking the turkey? Well, normally my aunt does it, but this year I think we're ordering it. We're having a smaller get together this year. Yeah, it's gonna be a real. I feel like it's been a slow news month. Feels like in general. Doesn't really feel like there. It doesn't feel normally there's something every like few weeks that the public latches onto, like some type of thing that Trump does, where he has like the Trump meeting in Alaska and the tariffs. And it seems like there's something this month. It doesn't really seem like there's anything. It's just like a bunch of smaller stuff, and you'll see like those riots and whatever. And but like the Dearborn stuff, there's really not much. Yeah, I don't think Kirk is going to be Person of the Year. I thought Kirk was going to be. I thought he was going to win it right after, like a few days after he got assassinated. I was like, I'm sure he's probably going to win it. I don't know who else it would go to. Apparently, artificial intelligence is going to win the Person of the Year according to the betting, unless it's changed. Which, I mean, it's like, come on. And I don't even know if it's really worth giving the AI the award. I mean, isn't AI just going to get better anyways? And it's gonna do significantly better things in the future. So why give it the award this year? If anything, they should have given it in like 2023 when ChatGPT came out. That's when they should have given it to the AI if they wanted to do it so badly. Candace called the FBI and told them France was trying to assassinate her. No joke. She's a complete lunatic. The problem is, man, she's getting like, this is the issue. She gets all of this reinforcement. She's got such a massive base. And so it's like encouragement, it's reinforcement, and it keeps her in this bubble where nothing can really get to her. And it's like dumb people on top of dumb people liking all of her stuff and commenting. And it becomes this like feeder thing to where if anyone criticizes her, you're part of the establishment, or you're covering something up, or you're just not thinking like a 3D chess player. And so you see it festering with her, and it's just she gets so much positive encouragement from people. Why would she stop whatever she's doing? I mean, I guess unless she actually gets sued. But suing someone for defamation that's a public figure, I think that's nearly impossible. Like, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to do that. There's a lot of arguments you can do against getting sued for defamation if you're a public figure. Can't believe she pulled in U.S. law enforcement. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she probably like drums it up, and it's not actually really anything. But with her, it's like she tries to create these storylines, because when you do a show like that, I mean, this is just how it is. There's going to be slow days. It seems like she doesn't want any slow days, and if there's going to be a slow day, she's going to have to make something up. It's like a bull in a china shop. She's going to have to do something to make sure there's some type of news. She'll include Charlie Kirk. She's got a new update. She just got an update from the local police after doing an investigation on the Charlie Kirk thing. How often do you think of the World Trade Center? Well, it depends. If I'm doing a video on it, I think about it, obviously. But I don't know. I mean, not as much as I used to, I guess. But I might be doing an iceberg part 3. I mean, who knows? But I'm gonna have to wait a little while. Would be some crazy stuff at all, if at all. I don't even know. I haven't even kept track of what her theories are. The problem is now she's got like 10 different theories. So if one of them's true, the other 9 are false. And it just goes to the whole just asking questions, Talk about Ukraine. It's been beat to death, Ukraine. Look, if they agree on a deal, that's great. But even if they agree on a deal, people are not going to be satisfied. There's going to be a narrative that, they're just going to reinvade in a year. No matter what happens, that's what's, it's unfortunate. But I mean, at the end of the day, this has to be a huge thing for Trump to get this done before the midterms. And so it's still a year. The midterms are still like a year away, or a little bit less than that. But it would be good for Trump if they got this done, because he could at least have the narrative of it. Because I know he promised that And that's one of the things they're criticizing him for, not ending this war. Dan, good evening. There's really no Trump clips. I mean, I don't know which one to play. There's just Trump didn't even do it. I mean, maybe the turkey clip. When was this done? When did they have a... This was like months ago they had this podcast. But like these kids are probably all immigrants themselves. This is the issue. It's like these kids come into the country, they don't even like the country, and then they get angry when it's just the entire thing is fucked up.
Anyway, are you ready? Gobble. I just want to tell you this, very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Beautiful. That's nice. Who would want to harm this beautiful?
He looks happy.
That's good. That's good. Thank you very much. Fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
turns out he's actually going to be eating. It's during Trump's Thanksgiving dinner. No, I'm kidding. Hail to the chief. Hail to Trump. Yeah, I saw it in the press briefing room. Where's the Pritzker thing?
People were killed this week, but we are moving toward doing, and we're gonna, if crime gets, it's horrible.
Did you see all the anti-Israel influencers promote a gambling site? Yeah, I don't know what they thought they were doing with that. You know, you have to wonder how much they got paid to do something like that. You got to know it's an immediate chill. It's like one of them's like a chick, like some girl's gonna talk about fucking like fantasy sports or whatever. That stuff is just so cringy. I guess it doesn't really matter, but that became kind of a story. That became a story, and people got angry about it because it's just such a pathetic grift and such an obvious grift. But maybe they got $7,000. I guess if they got $7,000, it would be worth it. Maybe. I mean, you got to kind of do that if they're gonna criticize that.
What's happening in Chicago? We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago. We'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone. It's become almost instantly safe. And I want to do it in Chicago. So, Governor Pritzker, if you're listening, let's get your act together. Invite us in. We're going to make your place so safe. You're not going to have these crimes that are making the newspapers and the front
There's
page
no
of
way
every
he's going to invite the
newspaper,
National Guard
television
in.
story, news story.
There's no way Pritzker will do that. That would be admitting he's a failure. He's not going to do that. Is it why won't Trump deploy the National Guard to Chicago? Is it a legal reason? Is it he can't do it? Is it because obviously this has been going on for months now, where he keeps saying that Pritzker should ask him for the National Guard. Just deploy the National Guard. What can be done to the amount of Islam in the country if that Muslim Brotherhood is deemed a terrorist group? Can we get them out a lot easier? Well, it would be deemed, I think, on an individual level, depending on what they identify. I guess it would depend how broad the Brotherhood goes within the country. I mean, how many of them are there, or how many of them are related to that? You could probably get them out, obviously, if it gets deemed a terrorist group, but I don't know if there's a lot of them actually in the country, or if that would really change anything. There's like no talk of that type of stuff. It's like remigration. There's no talk of it in the United States. So I don't really think that that's even a talking point right now. Did you see there's a chance that no ACC teams make the college football playoff? Yeah, that is surprising me. That does surprise me that they didn't do it to where the conference champion gets an auto bid. So that does surprise me, because it's like, well, what if SMU wins, and then are they going to jump inside the top 12? Probably not. I mean, unless they're forced to be, which obviously they're not because of the way the rules work now. So, I mean, the ACC's been bad this year. It just has. So I think they're going to, whoever wins the conference is still going to have a chance to make it. It'll just be dependent on if their resume is good enough, I guess. Yeah, I don't know where that clip is. I think it's probably down here if you want to see the clip.
Oh, want to give us a gobble? Very on message. He spreads the turkey gospel.
What is the name of it? What's his name? Can you see Tulsi in the future being a VP? I don't know. I mean, it depends. It depends what she does for the administration. Depends where they want to go. I mean, everybody has always talked about Tulsi as a VP option for Vance, but Waddle. Waddle is the name. Gobble and Waddle. Gobble and Wobble? Or Waddle? It's Waddle and Gobble. Okay. Tuesday night before Thanksgiving. Well, it actually is the Tuesday night before Thanksgiving. There's not another Tuesday before Thanksgiving. This is the final Tuesday. So that's why I just titled it that. There's not another Tuesday. Yeah, technically there's also Wednesday, but this is the final Tuesday. If the midterms don't work out for conservatives, all hell will break loose. Trump will be arrested. No, he's not going to be arrested. It'll just be bogged down. It'd be 2019, 2020 all over again. They're gonna file for articles of impeachment. It's not going to go anywhere because the Senate, it's going to be Republican. But and also you would need Republicans to cross over anyways for an impeachment to happen. So he was not going to. I don't think Trump would be impeached, but I think they're going to hold up a bunch of stuff, unfortunately, if they get power in the House. And so it'll just be a lot of gridlock if that happens. Why do we lose Charlie Kirk of all people? Well, I mean, he was obviously a big influence. He was a big influence among young people on the right, and so I obviously had a target on his back. Are you streaming Thursday? I don't think I'm streaming Thursday. On Thanksgiving, I don't think I'm streaming Thursday, man. Maybe another time on Thanksgiving, not this year. Maybe on Friday I'll stream. Black Friday. Whatever happened to Black Friday? Consumerism. Black Friday has lost its way. It's just all online shopping deals now. There's no actual stores. I don't know if the war ends. You're going to have to look up the betting odds on if the war ends. That'll really... If we lose midterms, Trump won't be able to get his maximum prize, Greenland. Yeah, I wonder how that would work in terms of maybe he would still be able to do something to try and get it, but... What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Thank you for the donation. Just having it with my family. Just having it with my family. We all need to take a break from looking at screens every night. You know, if I didn't stream, I would be looking at a screen anyways. That's the thing. No matter what, I'm just constantly looking at screens. I wonder if I actually tried to detox off of like the internet. I wonder how well that would go. It's a problem, obviously, if you make money, you make revenue from doing it. So it's like you really can't. But if I did try and do it, I wonder what would happen. I'd probably suffer some withdrawal of like dopamine problem or something. I don't know. Midnight releases. Yeah, the midnight releases. They tried doing it now. They're trying to bring it back, you know? They're trying to bring it back. It'd be cool if they actually brought it back and they forced people to go out and get it. And they didn't allow digital downloads until like a week after. That'd be hilarious. Just to try and bring something back because we're just given everything now immediately. So people now want to work for it or they want... You know, you just want a different feel versus the digital download. Imagine GTA 6, bro. Bro, GTA 6 will become... Well, I don't know if it'll get delayed again, but coming out right around the next Black Ops. Or are they not having another Black Ops? I read somewhere they're actually not doing another Black Ops. Do you and your family talk politics? No, we don't talk politics. We don't really talk politics. Wow, $100.67. Start looking into a vacation, maybe a week or two to just get away from everything. You don't have much time, but good night, bro. Well, I appreciate that donation, Giga. That's a Giga Chad. A Giga Chad with a donation, $100.67. The 6-7 meme. The 6-7 meme. It's a holiday miracle. Just remember the donations. It's a Thanksgiving miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. Hail to the chief. Hail to the chief. RFK. What is the best method of cope, Max? I guess it depends your personality type. The demographics are probably hard to salvage. Not enough babies, not enough deportations, too many illegal migrants. Well, also the way the economy runs, I mean, you need people. So if there's not enough, if the birth rate's low, they're going to be getting people from somewhere, unless they want to suffer some type of depression. You know, are people willing to suffer a depression to fix the demographics? I don't think they are. Now, I mean, it depends what part of the country you're in, too. Let's be clear. There are still areas that are, you know, it depends, but yeah, in the big city, I think the big cities, you can't really change that, man. The other problem is once they get to a certain demographic, they're not going to elect any Republican because why would they? I mean, they're all immigrants anyways. So likelihood of Kash getting fired within 6 months, I say 100%. I don't think so. I don't think he'll get fired. It's bad for the administration to make a change like that with the FBI director, unless they want to blame him for something and make him the fall guy. It looks bad on the administration. I mean, I think Bondi would have a higher chance than him, even though I know Trump likes Bondi because she's a blonde or whatever, but well, I got my $100, guys. I'm just coasting. I got a $100 donation. You think Charlie's death sparked a spiritual awakening in the country? You hear people talking about their minds turning on full blast. I don't know. I mean, it shook people up, but with the way the news cycle works, it's hard for it to really register for too long. Move to Dearborn, dude. What is the property value in Dearborn? It's got to be nothing. Imagine that. Imagine Dearborn hearing the Islamic prayers. You take the Japan route until now. It seems to preserve our culture. Well, Japan doesn't let any immigrants in. We don't have the we have the immigrants are already in the country now for the United States. Japan just doesn't let immigrants in to preserve their own culture. Then they suffer like deflation to their currency because they don't have enough workers. And now they're talking about possibly bringing people in. I think they started some type of program, and the bunch of people don't like it. But they did just elect a really someone really right wing. So maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe that's not going to happen now. But they have a big birth rate problem themselves. But you're right, they just don't bring in immigrants. They just deal with it. Breeding us out. Well, it's really irrelevant. I mean, it doesn't matter if they breed if we don't let them in the country. It doesn't matter. They can breed in the Middle East, or that's not even really where a lot of them coming from. Latin America is where most of them are coming from. Now India is a new hotbed, more so for Canada, but just North America in general. Do you see Erica Kirk wishes she was pregnant with another kid after she heard her husband's death? Kind of a weird way to cope. Yeah, I mean, I did think that was a bit of a strange answer, but the whole thing with Erica Kirk, I feel like everyone just tries to look for stuff. To me, that's what it feels like. Everyone tries to look for stuff like, oh, she's acting weird, she's doing something weird. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a strange thing to say. I mean, I don't know what she meant by that, like, for Charlie Kirk's legacy or something, like, it just kind of seems like an odd thing because he wouldn't be around for the kid to be born. Zelensky going to be here on Thanksgiving? I think he's going to be the turkey. He's going to be the turkey with his suit. With Zelensky we got to stop with Zelensky, man. That whole, it's a charade. We've seen enough of Zelensky. The next time I want to see Zelensky, it's signing a peace deal. We're not going to do the thing with Zelensky where he comes to the White House again and we have to do this again. This is like the 4th time. Maybe it's enough with Zelensky. How many kids should Gen Z aim for? 4 to 5 realistically with the economy? Well, it has to be restructured. If you want families to have 4 or 5 kids, they're not going to be able to afford it. You can't afford it on a middle class, 2-parent or 2-income household. You're not going to be able to afford 4 or 5 kids. I mean, I will say there is an argument if you live in certain areas and you don't spend money on things, you may be able to afford it. It just, I mean, there's not a perfect number. I mean, 2 to 3 kids, I think, is good, but a lot of people say they can't afford it. You have women staying in the workforce. women just saying they don't want kids, but I still think a lot of them do. They just say they don't. They're conditioned to say it. But it should be a human goal for pretty much all people to have children at some point. That would increase the birth rate. Well, yeah, I mean, if a lot of people had 4 or 5 kids, it would definitely increase the birth rate. Because, right now it's below replacement. You have 3, we aren't rich, but we're okay. Your husband is an RN, though, and makes good money. Well, that's good, Ev. That's a big family. Economy and housing must be fixed before it's... Now, I mean, you can have kids. I mean, it's not a great economy for young people, but you're making it out to see like it's a fucking third world country. You can have kids and be all right. I mean, it's more expensive, yeah, but it's not like you can't do it. It's not like it's $1 million a child. You and your soon-to-be wife are both engineers. She has a stay-at-home bullshit job, though, and makes more than you. We want a lot of kids. Engineers can't even afford kids. You're both engineers and you can't afford kids, really? You're both early on in your careers, probably. If Africa can pump out 8 kids for $500 a year, there's no excuse. Yeah, the quality of living is horrifically bad. That's why they can do that. Their quality of living is horrific, so they just have a bunch of kids. I mean, what else are they gonna do? And also, they do get a lot of money from the West. They get a lot of aid. What's the story? They've gotten like... I feel like it's more, but like 18 Marshall Plans combined over the last like half century in aid. Africa from the West. Zelensky and his country are corrupt AF. Yeah, I mean, everyone says that about Ukraine. At this point, I think people just want there to be some type of peace deal, whatever it ends up being. Just get it done so we can have the narrative of it. And there's going to just make some DMZ so it's harder for Russia to reinvade. I mean, how do you really confirm they're not going to reinvade? You really can't do that. I guess some DMZ. If you give a country aid, you can put CIA agents there disguised as aid workers. This is a benefit to these programs. Well, I don't know about some third world countries needing intelligence there. It kind of seems ridiculous. I don't know. I think all of that is just like... I mean, look at what China's doing. They're like they're not colonizing it in the sense of actually, owning the land, but look at what China's doing to the Congo. I mean, they're taking all the resources from it. Imagine we did something like that in the modern time. It seems like there'd be a lot of international hate for that. There's a scandal right now, like $100 billion being funneled to Ukrainian politicians' elites. Well, I mean, there was a lot of money that was given to them in the form of military aid, so there's bound to be some corruption.
The Russians on how to appeal to you and get on your good side?
No, but that's a standard thing, because he's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You've got to convince them with this. That's a very standard form of negotiation. I haven't heard it, but I heard it was standard negotiation. And I would imagine he's saying the same thing to Ukraine, because each party has to give and take.
So you're not worried that he's too pro-Russian?
I think, look, this war could go on for years, and Russia's got a lot more people, got a lot more soldiers, you know. So I think if Ukraine can make a deal, it's a good thing. I think it's great for both. Frankly, I think it's great for both. But Ukraine's got a, you know, it's much smaller. It's a much smaller group of people. They've lost a lot of people. Russia's lost a lot of people, but Russia has a much bigger pool of people.
Mr. President.
How's the move going? I'm working on it. Oh my goodness. Biological male wins world's strongest woman contest. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's like, how dumb is it? How stupid are we gonna get with this stuff? Thank you for the donation, Joe. I appreciate it. The EU can hedge against Russia invading more if they actually build their militaries and stop being so gay, but no, that almost always falls on the US. Well, no, they actually are. They're putting more allocation into their militaries. That was part of the deal with Trump. They're investing 5% of their total GDP into military and defense. And that's up from 2.5% or 2%. I forgot which one. Yeah, you guys you're cooked. I mean, they're just gonna. It's the men are just gonna come in and dominate. I'm looking for the first transgender WNBA player. That's gonna be the day. You know, the national news on that. That's gonna be crazy. Can that? I wonder if that's allowed in the WNBA. Will they allow a trans? I guess trans man, trans woman. Will they allow that? Imagine they actually might allow that with how liberal they are. If that actually happened, that would be a big storyline. Did you see Pablo Torre? Yeah, I don't know what his whole deal is. I don't understand. It seems like he's just some liberal trying to pick a fight with Riley Gaines. I don't really understand. He's like, she made money. Well, yeah, what you do speaking events, you make money. I don't know what the fuck to tell you, dude. It's like you're doing some investigative work. Like she made... I don't even know what it really is. And now you've got like Clay Travis just constantly going back and forth with Pablo Torre. And it's just like... I mean, I remember those guys when they were, you know, in the sports... when they were like with ESPN or Fox or whatever, but I mean, what is the big Sherlock Holmes journalism investigation here? She made money? I don't understand. The trans issue is to the Democrats as the abortion issue is to the Republicans. I mean, you would think they would, and the thing is they still don't have an answer. They still will not. They can't give it up. They can't give up the ground on the trans issue, but it's such a losing issue for them. But they continue on. Isn't there already Brittany Griner? No, the people say that she's trans, but it's not confirmed. She had some weird photos of like I remember stuff with her, but yeah, she got detained for like a weed pen or whatever, a vape pen, and then they had to exchange like some Russian mercenary. Dems are caring about the trans stuff less. Well, it's a big losing issue. I would imagine you guys need to stop caring. But I mean, I even see the Democratic politicians not being able to answer questions about men and women's restrooms, and they still can't answer it. So they don't really come out against it. I mean, it's still like a sore spot for them, I feel like. The first trans woman to join the WNBA will probably be a new Michael Jordan. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it'll depend on how good they actually are. I mean, obviously, if they're as competent and you're a male playing in a woman's league, you should dominate. I mean, that's the thought that I have. Putin wants peace so he can help Iran during their water crisis. I highly doubt that, honestly. If that's big, if he actually wants peace, then that should actually have movement, because it's been an issue to where he doesn't want peace. Ukraine was ready to play ball, but he didn't like the peace deal. So maybe they will work something out now. Gender neutral public bathrooms. Yeah, I haven't come across many of those. But that would be awkward. Wasn't there a woman kicker in college football somewhere? Yeah, that was like she did like a kickoff once, and that was it. Maybe for Northwestern or something. She did like one kickoff, I think. You think Putin's attack on Ukraine was delusional and ego-driven? Well, I mean, if they can just say they added land, they added territory, mineral-rich territory, basically, is what they'll say. Because they're going to get land, annexed for them in the Donbass region. There's a lot of natural resources in that area. So that's probably what he's going to say. Did the Trump administration really take away professional titles from nurses? Something like that. Yes, there was something about that. I don't know if it includes all the nurses or what. They're going to be pissed as hell about something like that. I'm not sure how it impacts, though, the actual job or the payment structure, benefits. You're hungry? Should you tear up some Chipotle? I mean, that's a pretty late time to be eating, I guess. Depends what time zone you're in. Took nurse out of the professional category in the student loan equation so they can get less. It only has to do with student loans. It's to get schools to lower tuition rates. All right, that doesn't seem too bad. Would you rather have Bonnie Blue daughter or jihadist son? Come on, man. I'll take neither. Neither is the answer to that. But if I had, I mean, probably Bonnie Blue, because a jihadist son, I mean, come on. As a white dude, that's... You kind of want to join your channel members thing just because the creepy 9/11 foreshadowing video shows up on your recommended as a YouTube featured. That that surprises me. If you're not a member and it shows up, I don't think it should be showing up. But that video, I mean, the reason that is even on there is because I couldn't get it monetized, so I just put it up on members only. But I could probably get it monetized now because they opened it up a little bit in terms of what you can monetize. Thoughts on white Muslims? Traitors. Your members only videos are recommended to you all the time. They're recommended to you all the time. There's only 3, I think. You gonna watch football on Thanksgiving? Of course. It shows members only videos on recommended page, but you can't watch it. That's never happened to me on my For You page, I don't think. But maybe I just don't follow people that only, have recommended videos. Piers Morgan Uncensored will have Nick Fuentes. Of course he's going to have Nick Fuentes on. He's made like 4 or 5 videos where he has the roundtables and all they debate is Nick Fuentes. So I think he's going to have Nick Fuentes on. And, Piers Morgan is going to, he's going to try and make it combative, I think, with Fuentes. He's going to bring up a lot of stuff that Fuentes has said previously. Because Fuentes has had a lot of these friendly interviews. And so that would be interesting with what Morgan says. But I think it's probably going to be a one-on-one type thing. Like he did with Andrew Tate. Piers Morgan's done like 3 or 4 one-on-ones with Andrew Tate. By the way, it's interesting. You see Andrew Tate, there's somebody that's kind of lost some luster. I'm sure Andrew Tate is still popular and all, but that's kind of how it works, I guess, with the social media stuff. You lose luster after a certain amount of time, in the spotlight. Especially if you comment and like on their videos, plus the creator hearts your comment. I don't really read comments, so I don't really heart many people's comments in the comment sections. Rogan with Theo Vaughn. It's every day with how many live stream, how many times do they have to have a podcast? They've done like 30 podcasts at this point. He got arrested for human trafficking. That was a huge saga. You remember that? Well, he got arrested and well, no, he came to Florida. Then DeSantis said he was going to arrest him or something, and he said he's a human trafficker. And then I think he might have he stayed in Florida. Then he flew back. He was under house arrest for I think 6 months in Romania, and then got off of it, and then went to Florida. I think he wanted to do a bunch of podcasts, IRL in the United States. And then I don't know, they said they were going to arrest him, but then people within the Trump administration it didn't happen or something, and then he flew back. I don't know why I couldn't talk there. Tucker is a better version. Well, he's a more sanitized version than Fuentes, but Tucker is, you look at Tucker, that's not really somebody that's going to, like, I feel like he's not going to want to run or anything like that, because Tucker would be their candidate, the so-called candidate, but I don't know. I don't even know if Fuentes would really support Carlson if Carlson decided to run, but I don't think Tucker will because he says he doesn't want to. Live react to Ohio versus Michigan. Yeah, I've thought about doing that. I don't know. I don't really love to do the live reactions. Sometimes they can be fun, but I do kind of like watching the game and seeing the social media reaction. So I don't know if I'll do a live reaction to that. I've been thinking about doing it. I haven't done a live reaction to a sports game in a while. Do you have a lot of New York subscribers because of the 9/11 videos? No, I don't really think that's. I think it's more of a. It's not really just people in New York have more curiosity. I mean, maybe slightly more, but not to any degree that it would really show up in metrics. I highly doubt it. I mean, you're always gonna have a lot of people viewing your channel in general from like all the population centers. Like if you look at my channel, it's gonna be like the most popular cities: L.A., New York City, Austin, Texas. I mean, those are like the most popular because that's where all the population is. You can't see your sub by state, only by nation. No, it's views. Yeah, you can't see subs by state. You can see viewership. You can see viewership by city, I think. That yeah, you can because I've seen it before. Your friend paid $4,200 for 2 tickets to Miami. Hopes Miami. Yeah, that's where the championship is, Miami. Yeah, I mean, you could just get refunded on that or sell the tickets, I guess. I don't think Miami's gonna. It would be pretty insane if Miami actually made the national title. Like I get, it's kind of like TCU making it, but maybe Miami would have a chance, unlike TC, or maybe Indiana would have a chance, unlike TCU. Why do Gen Z girls love tattoos? It's just a trend. That's it. Once the trend wears out, they'll stop getting them. But yeah, it's just terribly masculine. Rogan, his popularity is going down. Yeah, but that's because you're not going to maintain a peak when I mean Rogan's a podcaster. You know, the way Rogan maintains a peak is by having the biggest names on his podcast. If you're not going to be having the biggest names, there's going to have to be you're going to go down a little bit in terms of relevancy. Cuz he has big names still, but it seems like his popularity to me was 2020, 2021, 2022. But he's remained certainly popular. I mean, maybe not to the same level. Happy early Thanksgiving. Enjoy the food and holiday. You as well, man. You as well. Literally a quarter of girls at your college have tats. I'm surprised it's only a quarter, honestly. It seems like half of them have tattoos. I guess it depends the state you're in, maybe. If you're in a more conservative state, less of them will have tattoos. You're seeing more and more police officers across the U.S. with full sleeves tattoos and hand tattoos. Not a good look, especially hand and knuckle tattoos on cops. Yeah, no, that's not a good look at all. I'm in agreement with that. Rogan reached his peak with the Trump podcast. I feel like he was already past his peak. I mean, that could have been his peak just because of how big of the situation was right before the election. You know, Rogan did the thing where he endorsed Trump the day before. I always thought that was weak. Like, really? It takes you that long to endorse Trump over Kamala Harris? Yeah, no, they're just masculine. And it's a trend. It's just a feminist trend, and the girls do it because it's a trend. That's the only reason. The women shouldn't really want to get tattoos. I don't think they do. It doesn't look good. It looks out of place. It's definitely not a trend. I mean, there are maybe some guys attracted to it. I feel like very few, but peace deal for Ukraine opinions. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's hard to really take it seriously. I mean, Putin's going to have to really come to the table and want to negotiate, because if he doesn't want to talk, or if he makes demands that are not what the West wants, it's going to be the same thing that we've seen the past year. You know, it's been almost over a year now since these negotiations with Trump. And I think Trump really wants it because it'd be a good look for the administration, because he just ended the Hamas-Israel war. And now you've got this. I mean, this is great if they can get it done. Face tat or septum? Nah, you can't have a face tat. There's no way a girl would get a face tat. Girls don't get face tats. Like, realistically, less than 0.1% would have a face tat. So, that's not even a question. Guys don't even get face tats. Trump's truth post has destroyed his second term. What do you mean? Thanks the whale. Yeah, the whale with the membership, right? That was 100 gifted members, you know that. A lot of people peer pressure you into getting a tattoo. Yeah, I'm sure, and with women, that's probably a very big thing. I mean, I just, you observe it in public and see all of them with tattoos. OSU or Michigan? I think OSU finally wins. I think Ohio State wins, but you know, Michigan, they've played better. They have played better in the second half. Vivek is a disaster for the GOP. He will lose Ohio. Thank you for the donation. Yeah, he that was an AI clip, but yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's I think he's had a tough start to his, you know, the campaign with him. It's not been good, so. I think Vivek is going to lose a lot of independents in Ohio because and I don't want to say this because it's like I don't care about like, oh, you're too radical or whatever. He has a lot of like aggressive ideas. And you know, there's independent people here in Ohio. They're not going to like that. It's probably going to be, and this woman is just such a dull, annoying, like Amy Acton. She's just dull. She's just dull and she's nothing special. I think Ramaswamy is going to far out campaign her in terms of the events he's going to do. But it's not, he just has these very aggressive ideas. A lot of people in Ohio they're not going to be susceptible to that. Or I should say receptive to it. If she's white, she'll win Ohio, though. Yeah, she is Amy Acton. But she is nothing special. I mean, she might win legitimately, because think about it. You know, Ohio is not this crazy conservative. I mean, for Trump, it's been great. But when you look at the Senate races, even someone like Vance only won by 5 points. You know, and Vance was polling up by like 9-10 back in 2022. He only won by 5. It really wasn't an impressive victory in the Senate. And then even in 2024... one of the local races, I think it was another Senate race. Yeah, it would have been a Senate race because now it's the governor. The other Senate race was a lot closer than what Trump won by. So, like, the Senate races and the governor's race, they're very close. It's not really like the presidency and the general election, because I still think the general, you know, Ohio's more of a conservative state. It profiles more as a conservative state, I guess, more than, you know, Michigan and Pennsylvania now. You're from Ohio and you don't like him at all? Yeah, I think there's going to be problems with him with independent people and Ramaswamy. Trust me, I'm from Ohio too. And you think, well, we'll see how it develops and maybe he'll start doing better. And maybe, you know, the state's conservative enough for him to win anyways. Trump Truth Social post. Trump tweets out this, and the entire Republican Party does not stand united behind President Trump right now, then there's absolutely no reason to have a Republican Party. Woman for Trump. He reposted it on his Truth, I guess. One fair election would end the Democratic Party. Yeah, I mean, that is true. It's you look at these measures to pass the voter ID, it's like an 85% approval rate. They need to just pass it. I mean, they need some type of propaganda to be able to tell people that this is ridiculous. Why is this not why is voter ID not in every state? You need to run in primary, Vivek. Vivek, I mean, there's no way Vivek is losing a primary, dude. You want to know why? He has the Trump endorsement. So whatever happened to Vivek and Trump, and I don't know. It's hard to say. But he got booted from the administration, but they gave him the, potentially the governorship because he got the endorsement. He has the Trump endorsement. There was originally, people thought it was going to be like Dave Yost and Jim Tressel was going to run against him. They've cleared the field. There's not going to be a primary challenge for Ramaswamy. Oh yeah, he's been campaigning for months. He does, he campaigns a lot. I give him credit for that. But he's definitely a hard worker. He attacked Trump's voting base, called them shitty workers, wanted to give more jobs to Indians. Yeah, he's he's like it's like globalist capitalism slop with what he was saying. I mean, to a degree, I mean, I understand that you could say, well, we need to educate our kids better, but to compare us to like the third world countries or countries like China where they have such a different culture. Like, they have such a strict culture. Like, obviously, America doesn't want to be that. So the idea that you would compare it is concerning. I mean, there's a criticism, but then if you're an Indian saying that, you got to think about, and he is a freaking anchor baby, or I don't know if he is. He denies that he is one, but I think his mother was not a citizen when she had him or something, and so he would be first generation or second generation. You worried about Ohio State pass rush? Yeah, I mean, they do struggle when they only rush 4. Depends, though. They're going to have to bring more pressure, probably. Are you in support of AI data centers? It's going to happen anyways. That's the technology. That's the innovation of the country is AI. You think Josh Hawley would be a good alternative? Yeah, I don't think so. He seems like a milquetoast Republican. I've seen him. I don't really like Josh Hawley that much. I know there's a lot of people that say, because he's pretty young. And so is Vance, and maybe there is a comparison between the two. Vance has some significant, I don't know, some certain baggage with his come up. You better beat Michigan. Hoosiers are waiting. Well, if Ohio State loses, then it's going to be Oregon facing Indiana. You know that. If Oregon wins and Michigan wins, Oregon actually goes to the Big Ten Championship, not Michigan. So Oregon would go again. Are you worried after Trump is gone, Republicans will go back to the establishment types? Well, I mean, I just don't think there's an appetite for that with the voters. I think they have to continue whatever they have to continue the and whether or not Vance is that, or maybe he's a hybrid, but they have to try and continue the MAGA more aggressive route of modern, whatever the modern Republican Party is, versus the neoconism. I know there was a report that the Bush family was gonna. I think that was fake. I don't see any way that's gonna happen. There's no way the voters there's no appetite. There's just no appetite for someone like Ted Cruz. That type of politician nowadays. Ted Cruz would get like 2%, 3% in a primary. And he'd get all the Israel money too. It wouldn't matter. There's just not, people just don't like that. You think a portion of the youth is turning on the GOP because the current economic situation is bad and Trump isn't fixing it enough? Well, I think at a certain point, the blame gets passed from Biden to Trump on the economy. And so we saw that happen. And now they're blaming Trump, not Biden. They say, well, it's been long enough now, it's Trump's fault. And I wish they would have some type of policy on housing. The problem is, if young people want the houses to get better, I mean, that would cause an economic downturn if the housing market went down. So, does Trump really want to do that? I wish they had some type of initiative to build more houses. I really wish the Trump people would take up on that and do something. I mean, with his history in terms of real estate, you'd think they'd be able to do something like that. They have to build more homes. There's no other way. They've got to build more homes. They're about 3 or 4, maybe 5 million homes short. And so it's causing this massive supply shortage, and there's a massive demand spike in basically every major city. That's why nobody can actually buy homes. It has to get worse before it gets better. Fix the budget. Yeah, they're not going to fix the budget. Look at their big beautiful bill. They're not going to fix the budget. Fixing the budget requires a significant downturn, I think. And so they're not going to be able to do that because there's the midterms upcoming. You just don't have the time. They're building luxury apartments instead of single family homes. Right, and it's 100% a profit incentive. It's not profitable enough to build single family homes, so you have to force it, or you have to do some type of initiative to force the building of them. I mean, because you're right, they're not building them because it's not profitable, so they build more expensive luxury homes that people can't buy anyways, or luxury apartments. Thoughts on Monade? I saw that. I actually have no thoughts on it because I don't even know what it is. Is it a blockchain? It's a different blockchain, I think. But I have no clue. I haven't even looked at its price. I saw it next to Ethereum on Deck Screener. I was like, Yeah, I know. The other thing is people don't want to go through any type of downturn anyways. They say, well, we got to fix this stuff, but the way in which you fix it is actually, it gets worse before it gets better. That person was right when they said that. That's the concept of the fixing the economy. It probably will get worse before it gets better, but when it gets worse, then they say you suck. But I mean, with Trump and his policy, it's a big challenge because he has these tariffs on, and these are long-term solutions. With where they are, they don't really have the runway for that because of the midterms. So it's like you have a policy that is very long term. You have elections in 11 months. So then how do you fix it? Well, you take all the money and you have to just give it back to people. So go ahead and give your $2,000 checks to bribe people to vote. Voter ID can't be fixed with an executive order. Well, it's state law. It's state. Every state has a different law. I think there's like a federal law that can usurp it, but the state. You know, they're like state ID laws, state voter laws. They all have their own laws, and obviously states have certain freedoms. But you know, it should all be under the same umbrella, and there should be a federal law requiring something, because these are federal elections. In federal elections, the law should be federal. You shouldn't have state laws for federal elections to where there can be different standards in terms of like voting ID, where some states require it, some states don't. I agree with you. It should all be, you know, for a federal election. Now, maybe if you're voting for senator or whatever, really for anything, it should be the same. It should always be voter ID. I don't understand, how is that even an arguable topic? And it still isn't. You can't even argue it if you're a Democrat. They argue it. They say, well, they're too dumb. They can't get IDs. That's what they say about minorities. They say, well, minorities actually don't have access to IDs, which honestly, a lot of minorities don't even have IDs, or they can't locate them. It's very, even though everyone is given like an ID or identification. Voting should be on the blockchain. All voters have an ID. Make a coin, make a voting coin. Dude, make a voting coin and present it to Trump. Vote. It's it's the governance token. We have to go through a depression because this is only going to get worse and worse with the tariffs. Let's stop the hopium and get through it. Well, that's the problem. They can't go through. It's not an option for the administration to go through a recession, to go through a depression, because they're going to be voted out. So they have to keep spiking everything or giving people $2,000 or whatever. Laura Trump owned Nick Fuentes. I mean, I saw, it was just like boomer slop from what I saw. Why does Trump always give liberals spotlight on dumb stuff? Because like he's obsessed with like calling liberals out, and I agree with you. I think it's annoying when he does that sometimes. A lot of his supporters like it though. This may be a hot take, but if someone seriously is incapable of something as easy as obtaining an ID, they should not have a say in our nation's policies. Well, that's even just the start of it in terms of like deciding voting laws and stuff like that. You know, you could have a serious discussion about that and the legitimacy of some of the voting rights. And it's honestly hard for them to argue in terms of, you know, everyone has the voting rights, and you see these debates and they're almost always won by the people that want to restrict, because the people that want voting for all, they really have no leg to stand on, like historically. And in terms of the country and the way in which people, you know, that's probably something that has to be looked at, but it's not going to be, because it's the 21st century and they're not going to look at that. What is your take on the Trump Mamdani meeting? I think he wanted to disarm Mamdani. So, you know, the thing is, if you go into that meeting and you're Trump, I was honestly surprised. I mean, I thought Trump would try and, you know, the guy won, it's whatever. I thought Trump would be maybe a little combative, but also be cordial. I didn't know if it was going to, you know, I was a little bit surprised it was like a happy time. But you want to disarm him, and what ends up happening is if you go really hard against him during a meeting like that, that'll just galvanize his people with him. And then that'll also give them a free excuse like, well, it's, this would have worked in New York City, but Trump and the administration shut it, didn't allow us federal money or whatever to be able to implement Mamdani's policies. They would just start using it as excuses. So, Mamdani had a good meeting with Trump. He can try and implement whatever he wants to implement, let it not work. And then when it doesn't work, who are they going to blame? What are your thoughts on turkeys in the hotel room? I don't know what you're talking about. You mean Asmongold? Yeah, obviously I've heard of Asmongold. Pardon, Turkey's got a 5-star hotel room. You're kidding. At Trump Tower? If Trump plays nice, it leaves Mamdani in an awkward spot where he has to be combative to the president or else liberals get mad. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the socialist types were really angry with Mamdani because, they think Trump's the Antichrist. And so they're like, oh, you can't be nice to him. He's a literal fascist. What if you guys unite the right by impeaching Trump? No, that's not. No, Trump is the leader of the entire thing. You're not going to impeach. That would make it really bad. That would be neocons leading some type of impeachment charge, and it wouldn't go anywhere. They don't have the party. You all think Mamdani played Trump? That's a pathetic cope. Mamdani played Trump while Trump controlled the entire conversation? Really? Mamdani stood there like a puppy. Copium, level 1000. I'm not going to the. I'm not going to go to Chief Nerd. I've seen that clip already. It's not even anything big. The Laura Trump clip. If Michigan wins the playoffs Big Ten championship, it would be chaos. It's not going to happen. You guys aren't even going to make the Big Ten championship. Even if you beat Ohio State, you're not going to. You're not in a spot to make it, man. Because if Oregon wins, they're going to make it. Young people lack of support for Israel. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's just they're more nationalists. They care about the country. They don't like, they don't like any support for other countries, and the blind eye the Republican Party has for Israel's been exposed, and so, that's like the big cabal. Will Mamdani ever be able to put his policies in place? I don't. Some of them maybe. Some of them maybe. Some other ones probably not. Not to the degree that the socialists talk. Are you a fan of Clav, Luxmax, and Clavicular? Yeah, no, I mean, it's not really my. I'm not really a Luxmaxer, man. I mean, he does IRL streams now, and it's not really my cup of tea. Penn State new coach. Did they get a new coach? I didn't see. I think they're still in the process of hiring a new coach. I think Penn State makes a bowl game. Yeah, I think they're going to beat Rutgers. Well, he looks older, man. And I guess as a young guy, you can look older and be fine. You do have to wonder, though. You do for your Israel trip? When are you booking the flight? I'm not going to Israel. I'm not impactful enough to go to Israel. JJ McCarthy, statistically the second worst QB. Yeah, JJ McCarthy is just horrifically bad. And I think they're just going to have to release him. I think they're going to have to release JJ McCarthy. He's just not an NFL quarterback. Yeah, Trump needs to come out and talk about some type of initiative. They have to build a bunch of houses, whether it's through, they've got, and they're going to, I'm not a big fan of rezoning. I don't even think you have to rezone, but just build in areas that allow duplexes and stuff like that. But I am not a big fan of rezoning. DG meme coin Clyde and DG2 meme coin. I mean, that probably would have happened if I was more famous. I'm not making any meme coins, to be clear. I'm not involved. I wouldn't be involved in any of that stuff. My meme coins right now are cooked to hell. Why are some of the best college QBs so bad in the NFL? It's a completely different ballgame. It's way faster. The NFL is way, way faster than college. Players are way bigger. I think McCarthy is injured or something. I mean, he might not even be in. I mean, who knows? Is looks maxing the way to go? I think you should try and look decent. You don't want to be fat. 100. That's a huge disadvantage in life. You should try and at least look decent. I mean, at a certain point, it could become an obsession if the looks maxing thing. But you should try and I agree. I mean, if you look better, you're gonna be treated better in most cases. After Epstein coin, I mean, the Epstein coin I think went back up to like 200 or 300K, but I think it's come back down again. Anyone can be attractive if they're in shape. Well, everyone will look better if they're in shape. I don't know. It does depend. That sometimes there is a genetics to being attractive. Although there are a lot of surgeries that people do now to be more attractive, like really subtle things that you can do. You were watching The Hill saying, yeah, Ken Burns was getting flack for his documentary saying Ben Franklin got, yep. How about that bullshit? Well, it's completely that's the thing with history. It's like, there was definitely something to Ben Franklin looking at the Iroquois model or the Iroquois model, but it wasn't it was like number 6 or number 7 in terms of the influence level on the United States, governmental system, the democracy. So, if anything, it was a misrepresentation of historical context. That's what it was. And then I saw other historians defending it. No, he misrepresented the amount of credit that they should get for Ben Franklin, looking at their system and implementing it. But a lot of it is done to try and, say, oh, the natives actually created this. It's fucking bullshit. Are you getting anything for Black Friday? I don't think so. Maybe I'll take a look. I mean, honestly, if there's like a great deal, maybe I'll get something. I actually do need a laptop. That's the next thing I need as a laptop. I think probably but I don't know. I mean, I could use it. I don't know if I need it because I only have desktop computers. Your mindset for going in on the Epstein coin felt like it was going to be in the news cycle. Yeah, but the thing is, like, those coins, even if they're in the news cycle, they might not do anything. That's what you realize with those coins. Them being in the news cycle actually doesn't really raise the price. It's like the anticipation raises the price. Get a MacBook Air, they're under 1K. I was gonna probably get a MacBook is what I was gonna get. I mean, that's the best laptop, right? Have you ever used Grok and had to correct an answer saying it was wrong? I have issues. I have pretty significant issues with ChatGPT just blatantly lying about stuff. It's very strange. It'll lie about stuff and just make stuff up. When I use it for like a video or something, and I actually have to fact check it with other AIs because it just gets, and it's not even like it gets stuff wrong. It'll just make something up. It'll make up a story and the event did not happen. And it's very odd. So, the AI is like, maybe I have an older version of ChatGPT or something, but do you have a P.O. box? No, I don't. Do you pay for ChatGPT? No, I don't. I have whatever the free thing is. AI is wrong in a weird way to where it makes up stuff. I swear it'll just make up stuff and the story didn't even happen. Or it'll just completely inaccurately tell like a historical event and just say something that just didn't happen. iPhone, Airphone. I don't know what that is. Do you think Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame in the rankings? No, I don't. I think Notre Dame should be in front of them. The thing is, man, that game happened in week 1. It was a 3-point game. It was at Miami. Miami's had 2 bad losses since. I mean, I understand, it's like, why play the game? But you have to contextualize the season. AI hallucination, known issue. Yeah, I should ask AI about AI hallucination. It'll probably tell me. Probably make something up. No, I mean, AI is good and all in terms of those language models. I mean, they're very impressive. Just the amount of nuance they have, it is impressive. But also, it's sometimes you really have to fact check them because I wonder if I might use another AI and see if it's right, and maybe I should use a different one. Would you legalize psychedelics? No. I think that'd be terrible. I think weed being legalized is bad, dude. Weed is not something people should be having. I think it's a serious net negative for society. The negatives far outweigh whatever positives for the weed with cannabis. Prediction on where Kevin goes? Probably LSU. Even if you make it illegal, people are still going to do it. Yeah, not even close to the same degree. You know, and it also smells terrible. Yeah, I don't think weed is good. I don't think weed is good for people. You thought Kiffin re-signed with Ole Miss? No, they're making an announcement after the Egg Bowl. So I don't know. I think the entire thing is terrible. They shouldn't allow coaches to change teams or fucking do that during the season. It's horrible. Yeah, I know. I saw that. The trans athlete. You think you should move to Japan if they nuke our taxes? I don't think you should move to Japan. I don't know. I don't like moving out of the country. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. Japan has cheap real estate. I mean, I guess. You can tell somebody's never left the country before if they suggest moving to Japan. Yeah, moving, that's a crazy lifestyle change. I mean, it's based on the individual, I guess. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this stream. I'm going to end it there. I will see you guys another time. I don't know, maybe before Thanksgiving. I'm not sure. Yeah, weed can be used as medicine. Everybody knows that grift, but it's we don't want it recreational use. It smells disgusting. All right, guys, we'll see you.